I got a band 8 in my IELTS speaking, and I want to share with you the questions that were asked to me during my IELTS exam. The IELTS speaking test is composed of 3 different parts within a time duration of 15 to 20 minutes. The examiner for the speaking test is a live person, and this will be done over Zoom or via a video call, and the examiner will be either a Filipino or a foreigner. In my case, my examiner was a Filipina, and she was really lovely. I cannot remember all of the questions that I got during my speaking test, but I'll share with you the 3 different parts and the questions that I remembered per part. So in the first part of the speaking test, I was asked different personal questions. So the first one that I remember is, tell me about your hometown, or where was your hometown? And based on my answers, she asked me just different questions about my hometown. I can't remember the rest, but then after that, in part 2, you will be given a cue card. So a cue card basically will look like there's like an instruction, and then there are 3 bullet points below that, which means that this is the main topic that you'll have to talk about, and there are 3 bullet points which you may talk about that are related to the question. In the part 2 of my speaking test, the question was, do I know a person with a significant job that contributes to society? That is not the exact phrasing, but that's like the gist of it. And then the 3 bullet points were, who is that person? What is the work of that person? And what are the qualities that a person must have to be effective at that job, which was to be significant in the society. You'll be given a piece of paper and a pencil for you to write down your ideas or your answer, and you will only be given 1 minute for you to do that. Once 1 minute was up, you have to speak and talk about your answer in 1 to 2 minutes. The examiner will not interrupt you. When it's already over 2 minutes and you're still not yet done talking, the examiner will interrupt you and just say something like, okay, thank you. I was able to talk about my topic and address those 3 bullet points. I was able to answer those. However, I was not able to talk about my conclusion. After the second part is the third part, which will be different questions that are related to your answer in the second part. I can't remember the specific questions, but they are just really related to your answers. And then when she was done with those, since there was still time left, she asked me about some personal questions again, but this time it was about work and education. So she asked me something like, what was the quality that I got when I was still studying in high school that made me effective at my job? And the other one was like, what are the skills that high school students can develop that will help them become prepared when they work in the future? Then about my work, I think she asked me about what were the advancements or like the updates in my job now compared to how it was before. And I think my answer was just like AI, because, you know, let's face it, nowadays the use of AI has become rampant, that it's been affecting some businesses, especially for me, since my work is digital in nature. I work in digital marketing. Let's say, for example, ChatGPT, it's taking over copywriting jobs, you know. So yeah, that was my answer. And then she asked me something like, do you think AI will be here in the long run? And then I answered yes, because technology is ever evolving, and this is just the beginning of artificial intelligence. So here are my tips for different parts of the speaking test. So in the first part, when you will be asked about personal questions, you have to answer directly. So for example, if she will ask you like, do you like desserts? Yes, I do. I do love desserts. So you can stop there, but the examiner may not give you a higher score, because the speaking test is a test of your speaking skill. So if you're just limited in speaking and you won't elaborate on your answer, then you might not get the band score that you wanted. So if you'll be asked like, do you like desserts? Answer directly. You'll say, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, my favorite dessert is leche flan, because I love custard. I love how creamy it is, and I love the texture of a leche flan. So something like that. So don't use the phrases like, in my opinion, or for me, because she's talking to you. So of course, the answer will be from you. The opinion will be from you, because it's a one-on-one discussion. It's a one-on-one interview. So avoid saying, for me, in my opinion. So just say, yes, I do love desserts, or no, I don't like desserts because I don't like sweets. And my mother's side suffers from diabetes, so I avoid taking sugary treats. I don't know, something like that. My point is just be direct with your answer. Don't say, in my opinion, for me, avoid using those, and then just add a little bit of more information about your answer. For the second part, which is the cue card, you will have 2 minutes for you to speak and say your answer. So in a piece of paper, you'll only have 1 minute for you to write down your answer. So for me, what I did was I took notes of the main points that I want to talk about, and then I put in there the connecting words that I could use in between. So like point A, blah, 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 blah. Moreover, blah, 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 blah. So that's what I wrote in my piece of paper. However, and then main points of what I want to say. And then the other connecting word, therefore, because these connecting words will give you points as well in the speaking test. So you have to use those. So those are just exactly what I wrote on the piece of paper, because you can't write full sentences in just 1 minute. And then lastly, for part 3, my tip is just the same with part 1. If the examiner will give you a question, answer it directly. Don't say, in my opinion, for me, or any of these phrases. And then just give a little bit of more elaboration, because if you will be asked like, do you like food? Yes. You will still have a grade, but it won't be as high as you wanted it to. So just give a little bit more of, I don't know, zing to your answer. I followed my own advice and I got a final score of 8 in my speaking test. So yeah. So yun lang, hope this helps.